but none other than James Carville has acknowledged
Carvel ice cream.
Well, and I have to love how Tim calls him that. He calls him Carvel. And it makes me think of our ice cream. But this was a very interesting thing because I have never in my life seen him or his ilk ever acknowledge any mistakes
that they fucked up.
Ever acknowledge mistakes.
And you know why I think Carville is making this statement, like a lot of others maybe? Because I do think that there is this realization that they really fucked up and that they may have lost like a significant voting block for the future that they're not going to get back.
I think that, and I have some other theories on it, but play it. Like, let's play this clip, you guys. So this is the same person who the last time we played a clip from him was like in the camp of Kamala is going to win. She's doing great. Like, this is somebody who was delusional all the way until the last minute.
And I'll put it on the screen. I'll read it aloud. This is from the New York Times. Character, honesty, decency, intelligence, democracy, none of these seem to matter in our country when electing a president. I think that pretty much says it all. You would say what to that person?
I'd say, well, first of all, I totally agree with that person. It's very depressing. But if you're doing political strategy, you know, if you have an airplane crash, you got to go back and find out what went wrong. You don't say, well, let's just forget about it and move on. No, was the flap set in the right setting, or, you know, was there something that the pilot didn't pay attention to? I don't know, but it is sort of depressing. But, you know, Michael, there's a simple, basic rule of politics is voters want an election about them. They don't want an election about you or your opponent.
Okay,
and
stop.
For too much, we lost that. I lost it.
How is it that they didn't already know this, right? So this is like hold on to that for a second, because this goes as to my theory as to why he's doing this and what this is about. But like the fact that he makes this comment about what voters want and how somehow that's like was previously unknown to them. Okay. Wait, you're muted.
Now all you're going to do is get me to try to practice trying to challenge.
Okay, just play it. Continue the clip.
Myself, we made it about Trump, and we didn't make it about voters. And that's all. It's never a good idea. And how could I, at 80 years old, been doing this for 50 years, lapse into that level of stupidity? You know, I got to ask myself.
Because they paid you to, you schmuck.
Exactly. There's that. Was that the whole clip? Was that the whole clip?
That's it.
Okay. So
thank you, Brett. And hey, we need to have, you know what we need to have, Jen and Colin, we need to add, like Jordan has on Status Quo, we need to add a call-in option. Like we should have.
Oh my God. Now you're talking a whole new level of technology. That's a whole new level for us.
I don't think it's that common.
I want to just finish talking about the Carville thing before you get me distracted, which is what you do. And I can't afford distraction. So you were suggesting to me earlier that you think that Carville was willing to go public and say this. Your perception was, oh, they must have stopped paying him, so he's willing to admit the truth. Whereas my thought is that no. I think that they're paying him specifically to be the one to fall on the sword for this. That's what I think. Because there's no way that someone, like he just said, he's 80 years old. He's been doing this forever. And he didn't know that in an election, it needs to be about voters and not about you. That is the dumbest thing ever. And it's just too convenient to all of a sudden be so self-aware about a basic premise. That's why I think they have paid Carville to go take one for the team. That's what I think.
Maybe. I think that I sometimes think that these mea culpas end up happening because if they saw anything that gave them reason to believe that there were some silver linings out of this election, that they would use them for all they're worth. The fact of the matter is they don't have any silver linings. The other thing that I think the Republicans have over the Democrats that they're not talking about right now, and they're not going to, because this is something that will be way too much of a red flag, is that I do think that there probably is an age schism between the two parties right now. I think that the Democratic Party is probably very reflective in their own representation. They are probably a much older demographic within the party now.
Yeah.
Trump got a very sizable millennial and especially Gen Z vote in this election, to me, that's the scariest thing of all, because they know that you've said it for how many years, Jen? Every year, a portion of Debbie's voting block dies off, which means
and they don't register new voters.
No,
Let's be very
which means
clear.
that
Most voters do not register as Democrats.
let's put it this way. As much as I would like her to be gone now, it wouldn't surprise me if Wasserman Schultz may be gone in probably 2 or 3 election cycles.
Right, because
that's
the
how
seat will
fast
turn
it's,
red.
it's how fast it's changing. And the Democrats are simply inept to change. And I've made that clear.
They're dying off. What's the average age down here in Broward at a Dem Club meeting is like deceased.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Like I said, I think that the age is fairly similar in that respect, based on what I saw in Broward versus what I see in Okaloosa, Escambia, and Walton County. But what you can see is the difference is that the boomers on this side of the aisle are much more active. They are much more into this stuff. They have a lot of zest for life in a way that does not exist with those boomer Dems that permeate through the Tri-County area, particularly in Broward County.
Yeah.
There is a difference. You will notice that energy. It's very obvious when you walk.
Carville is one prime, like to me, he's representative of that dying party. And the fact that they at least are going to feign some amount of learning from this experience, but they're not going to really do anything different because at the end of the day, they still have the same corporate sponsors. So it really doesn't matter what lessons they learn because they can't afford to give a crap what regular people think.
You are not going to go to the heart of the problem, which is that corporate special interests have captured our government, then it doesn't matter. It is irrelevant.